I'm Cindy Young. This is Alex Young, Christina's mom and dad. Christina Whittaker, it's her daughter. She went missing on November 13th, 2009. She went out with friends that night and never made it back home. But Christina had a little 6-month-old baby who was her life. You know, she loved her family, was close to her family. She lived with her boyfriend, Travis, and they were actually supposed to get engaged that Christmas. You know, she had no reason to leave or be gone. You know, she loved her family and she had no reason to be, you know, away from us. She's happy-go-lucky. You know, Christina has a good heart. She loves everybody. She loves people. Christina was living with her boyfriend, Travis. At the time, she had been with Dustin, the baby's dad, until she was 2 months old. Alexandria was 2 months old, and then they broke up, and she's with Travis for about 4 or 5 months. And Travis was a good guy. I mean, Dustin, they both were. That just Christina and them didn't get along. I mean, they've been exploited through this to make it look like they're guilty or had something to do with her disappearance, but they haven't. They're both good guys, and they've both been cleared by police, and you know, there's no reason for even to suspect that they were involved in any way. Travis dropped her off at Rookie's Bar around 8:30 that night. All of the friends that she had called came down. Most all of them, I believe, came down to meet her. She was confrontative with a bartender, you know, or maybe even somebody else. But she'd been drinking, taking her prescription medicine, and was asked to leave the bar. And of all the friends that come down there to be with her that night, not one of them would leave with her. She was taken out the back door, you know, by herself, and they all stayed and left her behind. Friday, November 13th, that was the last I talked to Christina. My husband and I were in Texas. We go to bed. I talked to her before she went out on the phone. We go to bed at 5 a.m. the next morning. I get a call from Travis, her boyfriend. Well, she didn't come home, you know, that night. He had to go to work that morning, and he had Alexandria. So she was supposed to have been home with the baby so he could go to work. And he had to take the baby to one of his family members, and he called me, and you know, of course he's going to be upset. His girlfriend didn't come home all night. So Alex and I, we get ready, pack up, and get ready to head home. It's quite a long drive, and in my mind, I knew something was wrong. My husband knew something was wrong. I'm calling her friends and calling family to see if they've heard anything from her. No one had heard anything from her that I talked to, but some of them I was texting family and friends also, and like my niece and her cousin, a couple of them texted me back, said yeah, she had called them, but they had missed the call, probably around midnight, whatever time it was the night before, and The longer it's taken to get home, the more I'm getting in panic mode. So I call the police on the phone. You have to be there in person to make a police report for a missing person, and I'm not there to do that until after midnight, which would have been Sunday the 15th by then. And that's why there was a delay, 2-day delay, you know, in making the police report. But I'm in panic mode talking to the police. I talked to several different police officers. People started calling me later in the afternoon with information. They would hear this or hear that, so they're calling me. I'm calling the police, and you know, my husband and I, we're full-blown panic mode by the time we get to Hannibal. And like I said, it was after midnight, so it was the 15th by then. So on Saturday, after I contacted the police, they did go out and look for her. I mean, they went to friends, families' houses. I was told by one of them they were going to go into the bars that night just to see in case she was back out again that night. And to me, you know, I told them, I said, she's not going to be in a bar tonight because she would, first of all, she would have went home, spent the day with her baby. I mean, she would have got showered, cleaned up, clean clothes. If she was going to go out again that night, she didn't really go out 2 nights in a row like that anyways. But she was gonna, you know, she's gonna come home at least and be with her baby for the day and, you know, hang out. She would have not come home, not called. Her phone was always glued to her hand. You know, for her not to call or you not be able to reach her on the phone or anything like that, no text, nothing, because she was in constant contact with me. It was like part of her bipolar. She always had to be in contact with me. And so, I mean, on the way home, I'm not really hearing bad things. You know, that she'd been kidnapped or anything like that. It's just that, you know, we just wasn't hearing really, I mean, far as it goes, the police was looking and we just really wasn't hearing much of anything, but just my mom instincts, I knew, you know, in my heart, I knew something was wrong. You know, Christina never went, you know, a whole day without calling me, texting me, you know, or seeing me every day in her life. Back in 2009, after Christina went missing, she went out with Breezy. That was one of her friends. She had invited her out that night, and she went. They hung out together that night, and since Christina had been missing, I'd talked to Breezy several times over the years, and she kind of stuck to her story. You know, she didn't know anything. She didn't know anything about, you know, what had happened to her, and just that Christina had left, and she stayed at the bar, and after that, she just didn't know anything. She didn't say anything about, you know, just nothing. I mean, she didn't know anything. Anyways, over the years, we've kind of talked back and forth, and you know, I've had anxiety, you know, not anxieties, but I've had frustrations toward Breezy over the years for not, you know, not leaving when Christina left, got kicked out of the bar. To me, I think she should have went with her, because Breezy was her ride home. She had already planned them a ride home. So after so many years, me and Breezy just, I'd say probably the last 3 or 4 years, we hadn't talked at all. I spoke to Breezy, it was the end of 2019 or the beginning of 2020. I had spoke to her, and all of a sudden she's telling me that the suspect, she knew this was a suspect in Christina's case and her disappearance, that she had sat there and looked out the back door of Rookie's bar, and that Christina, a dark colored car pulled up. She said Christina went to the car door and got drugs from the passenger, which was, she named the guy that was actually the suspect in her case. She never told me anything like that before ever. So I'm just hearing this. I had no idea if Christina had any kind of a contact with this guy before her disappearance, or, you know, if they'd known each other or anything. Well, out of the blue, she's sitting here telling me that, you know, yeah, that, you know, that she had got them and that they went in the bathroom and used them together. So I'm just shocked. I'm blown away because all these years she never told us that. So now when our private investigator goes interviews Breezy, it was this year, I'm pretty sure, or maybe the end of last year, she told her she didn't see who was on the passenger side of that car, that Christina bought from. Well, she had told me the complete opposite, told me the name and everything, and like I said, it was one of the suspects, for a case, but she never came. I asked her, I said, why didn't you come forward and, tell the police that? And I'm thinking, well, she's sitting here denying it to the investigator, telling it to me, and to me, she's always told me she didn't know this man. She's heard his name before. I've told her his name before, and she didn't. I don't know him. As far as I know, I said, do you know if Christina hung around with him? No, I don't know. I don't. So I'm thinking here she's had to know him all this time, known that Christina was connected to him, but never said a word. All these years, never said a word. If I could say anything to Christina, I'd tell her that 10 years, it seems like we haven't seen her forever. I want to be able to give her a hug, a kiss, tell her I love her, I miss her. I want to tell her she's my little hero. She's a survivor, and I'm very proud of her for surviving and, doing what she had to do to stay alive and to stay going and, to get back home to us. If you don't want to come to Hannibal, Christina, you don't have to. If we needed to move, to be with you, I don't want you to have to look over your shoulder always. If we had to move to be away from here to where you'd feel safe, I don't have a problem with that. But we just have to hear something. 10 years, next month 11, it's just way too long. We have to hear something. You're so loved and you're so missed. Alexandria's 11 now. She loves and misses you so much. She wants her mama. She grieves for you. We all do. We all grieve for you. We just need to get this ended. We need to hear from you, whether it's call, text, just anything. Reach out to me. I'm your mama. I've always loved you unconditionally. Call me. Call me. Let's just talk. Anything. We got to break this 10 years with not communicating or talking at all. It's been hell. I mean, I don't know how it's been for you, but for us, it's been hell. We didn't go your whole life, without talking every day, or being on the phone talking or seeing each other personally. Your whole entire life. Now we missed the entire 20s. She was 21, and in my mind, you're still 21. You're not 32. You're 21 still, because that's the last day I laid eyes on you. You was 21. There's nothing in this world that you could ever do that would make me mad at you or not want you home or with us. There's nothing. I know, we pretty much know what happened to you. We know that a lot of the suspects are, out of the picture now, in jail or dead, or, there's nothing to fear. Don't let them hold any kind of fear over your head, because we can protect you. And even if that, like I said, if that requires moving, we can do that. We don't have to stay here. Alexandria, like I said, she's getting older. She loves you. She misses you. She has bad breakdowns. She needs her mama. I'm not her mama. You are. And she needs you bad. So come home to us.
You want to say anything, Ma?
You want to say anything to your mom that you love her and miss her, don't you? Very much. She has hard times, little breakdowns. She'll just cry and cry. And
anybody would.
Don't you? You have hard times, don't you, with your mama being missing? For her birthday back in April, she just got it set in her mind that her mama would be home, and when she didn't make it home, Alexandria had a really bad breakdown. She was depressed, wasn't you, for a couple months, and
like 2 or 3 of them.
And we bought her little puppy here to kind of help bring her out of she was pretty down. and little Bella here's helped her do a little better, but she needs her mama, don't you? She needs her mama home. We all need her back. This life's not the life's not the same. There's a huge part of our family missing, and until Christina, until you're back with us, it's always going to be like that. It's like half our hearts are gone. It can't heal. So just need you home.